Oh, I don't know. Darren be the one who tackles. I know that.
Thank you. That was a bit of a slap on you. Start. I'd like to thank the Monaghan Arts Network for giving me the opportunity to this. And I just want to tell any of you young ones that wants to do anything, no matter what it is, just do it. I asked Pat Deary how you get into drama and acting and stuff, and he says, you just go and do it, you just go and do it. And I thought he was right and ignorant, but I walked away from it and I thought, maybe he's right. So that's what I did. And your head will hold any amount of information, whatever you want to put in there, it'll stay there if you want it to stay there, if you have an interest in it. So I'm going to give you a wee story that I stole from a guy, Noel Joyce. He won the score with it in 2017, and it includes a wee bit about a hero that we lost there last week, Big Tom. So, Willie Hayes lived a sheltered life, and for 50 years or more he just farmed and looked out for a wife. Is something he'd like to explore. When Sunday night came, it was always the same. Mammy, can I go to the dance? But Mother said no, he couldn't go, though he longed for a bit of romance. The day his mum passed away, I heard Willie say that his life was about to begin, though the last word she said still rang in his head. Willie, that dancing's a sin. So Willie waited for a month to pass. He thought it might look better. And as he walked home from a month's main mass, he got distracted by his zatter. Now it wasn't so much the tractor that captured his attention. It was Kitty Kane going down the lane to collect her father's pension. See, Willie had his eye on Kate for 20 years or more, and the sight of her behind the wheel was just one he couldn't ignore. As he passed Kennedy's pub on the corner, he heard one of the local lads saying, there's a big dance tonight in the Premier. Big Tom and the mainliners is playing. Well, Willie knew that Kate liked the dancing, and he heard that she often went there. Oh, his head it was filled with romancing, as Kate's exhaust fumes filled the air. He rushed back home to the farmhouse to prepare for his big night ahead. He boiled up 2 big kettles of water and brought in a half barrel from the shed. He felt if he got a good scrubbing with Kate he might have a hope, so he dived head first into the barrel with a big bar of carbolic soap. Now he washed and he scrubbed for 2 hours till a shine had appeared on his face. Now he didn't smell quite like the flowers, so he splashed on some Old Spice just in case. He tried to get into some breeches that he'd worn for his confirmation. I can tell you, he ripped a few stitches. You see, he hadn't allowed for inflation. He took one last look up at Mother, whose picture hung on the back door, and he felt that somehow or other, he'd never seen her as angry before. With Operation Transformation complete, he sat into his old Morris Minor and checked the front passenger seat to see if it had a recliner. Soon he arrived at the Premier. He parked up near the fire station. He thought it might be an advantage if he got into a hot situation. I can tell you now, Willie was gleaming as he paid his £5 on the door. Down his brow the sweat it was streaming as Willie stepped out on the floor. He quickly surveyed his surroundings to search for the love of his life. In his chest, his heart it was pounding. What a way to have to look for a wife. He looked up the left side of the Premier, where the ladies all sat in a row and the fellas all queued up to ask them. He says, sure, I may have a go. But he didn't know where to start, for he'd never seen such a thing. You see, Willie was more used to the mart, where the heifers went round in a ring. Then a new sense of courage came o'er him. He says, sure, I may take a chance. He smiled at a young one before him. "Excuse me, would you dance?" He felt that she looked like his mother, but at that stage he couldn't care less, and before he could ask her another, the young one smiled back and said, "Yes." Oh, in Willie's head, wedding bells they were ringing. He felt there was hope for him still. As he waltzed round the floor, Tom was singing the old rustic bridge by the mill. He swore that he'd ne'er love another. It was the love he had searched for years. Then Big Tom sang, "Shall I ne'er see thee more, gentle mother?" Poor Willie just burst into tears. Well, she left him right there where she found him. It was more than the poor girl could take. As the crowd quickly gathered around him, Willie felt his poor heart start to break. Still he said he wouldn't stand there grieving. So he made a beeline for the door, and he swore as he was leaving, he wouldn't be back anymore. In Willie's head, mother's words they were ringing, "Oh, dancing may well be a sin." As he ran out the door, Tom was singing, "You're going out the same way you come in." Thank you.